All right, we are live. Hey, welcome to Authentic Influence. This is Anthony Chansamuth, and let me just check that we have all our settings right. Excellent. So let me bring our screen up like so. Okay, and I'm going to do. Let's do slideshow. Perfect. Okay, so today we are talking about getting more traffic by optimizing your existing articles. Okay, so if you want to get more people, more ideal buyers and prospects to your website, and that's one of your goals this year, then you're going to need to really optimize your articles and your content on your site so that it brings more traffic. Okay, and this is one of my primary focuses this year. I support B2B businesses, software companies, typically in the $1 million plus range, and we work a lot on content. Okay, so this particular training is all about getting more traffic by optimizing your existing articles, and we're going to do it using a tool called Surfer SEO, the Surfer SEO Audit tool to be precise. And this is a tool that I've been playing with for quite some time. It's one of the essentials in a content marketer's toolbox. So if you're not already using it, highly recommend you check it out. And let's go through what we're going to cover in this session. Okay, so first I'll talk about what is on-page SEO. In case you're new to the world of search engine optimization, you may have heard of On-page. That's okay. This could be a refresher for you if you're already aware of it. But let's start with a bit of a definition. I'll then give you an on-page optimization checklist. All right, and so this is where we will run through just what are the key elements or key things you need to be looking at when you are trying to optimize your web pages for SEO. Okay, then I'll show you a Surfer SEO Audit tool demonstration. I'm going to actually open up the tool so you can have a look at it, and I'm going to then give you a live walkthrough of how to optimize an existing article. I might cover a couple of those, and we'll do a live example, and I'll show you how the tool works and how I would use that and have been using that to optimize articles for our business, but also for our clients. Okay, and then throughout this process, you'll get a ton of tips that you can use for your own content and your own goals. Let's get rocking. Now, I'm quite excited because this is the first solo episode I've done in a while, and we are changing to a new format where I'm going to be doing more solo episodes on a regular basis. We'll still continue the expert interviews, and we're just going to switch it up a bit. And we're also going to be introducing a community episode once a month, and you'll have the chance to actually jump on with me onto Zoom and ask your questions, and also do a bit of online networking with the other participants in the Zoom. So if you're interested in that, please comment below community, and I will connect with you and invite you in to join on our next session. Otherwise, email me at hello@simplecreativemarketing.com and just mention community podcast, and we'll give you the invite. Okay, so that's coming up in a few weeks' time. All right, let's get into Surfer SEO. Okay, so before we go into the actual checklist, all right, so I'm going to flip over here and let's take a look at the actual definition of on-page SEO. Okay, so if you can see the screen, I hope you can see the screen. Yep, you should be able to see this page here from bookmark.com. I'll read it out for you. Basically, what it says is, ranking high on search engines isn't rocket science. Even the most experienced SEO expert makes it seem complicated, but the process can be simplified into 3 primary categories. You've got on-page SEO, you've got off-page SEO, and technical SEO. All right, so I won't go into all the definitions, but on-page SEO is the optimization you do for keywords you want to insert into your page or blog post. All right. So again, on-page SEO is optimization you do for keywords you want to insert into your page or blog post. So you're trying to attract an audience. You're trying to reach them on with specific keywords that they might be searching inside of Google or Bing or whatever search engines are. We're going to focus predominantly on Google because that's still the #1 search engine on the planet as of today. And so this is what on-page is all about. Off-page SEO, just so you're clear, is comprised of the amount of influence your page receives from other websites that link to it. Okay, so this is where you might have heard of backlinks and backlinking strategy. So that's off-page SEO. And then technical SEO is really about your website structure and how that's optimized to help search engines crawl and index your website more effectively. Technical SEO typically talks about how fast is your hosting, how fast is the site of your pages loading, and these sort of things, and how it's all structured. Okay, so I'm definitely not an expert in technical SEO. So if you want that, I can recommend Gert Melek and his team over at what's his company name? Oh, I forgot. Gert. Just look up Gert Melek, Mellak, and I'll link to his website on the show notes here. He's been on the podcast a couple of times in the past. Really knows his stuff when it comes to technical SEO. Okay, so on-page SEO is what we're talking about, right? On-page SEO here is all about which keywords you're targeting and how you incorporate them into your website. Okay, let's move on from the definition, and we're going to flip over to our checklist. All right, guys. So let's do this and bring up our optimization checklist. Okay, so when you are optimizing your web pages or your article pages, right, for on-page search engine optimization, okay, then there are 6 key things that you really want to prioritize on and look for. The first thing, these are things that Google, when it's doing its thing, it's looking for these specific elements, all right? And it's comparing these elements on your page with other pages out there that are trying to rank for the same keywords, okay? So let's say you have a topic and, maybe you're a business coach, or maybe you are a software product, and you do a specific thing. Maybe it's a project management tool that you have, or maybe you're a copywriter like me, right? So whatever your topic is that you're trying to show up on page 1 of Google for, there are other obviously competitors that are trying to do the same thing. So Google's comparing all these different sites, and then it's looking at these 6 different elements. The first element is content length. Okay, so how long are the guides or the articles, the pieces of content, right? And the question that Google is really asking is, how much in-depth and educational value does this piece of content bring to the reader or the person that's searching for this stuff, right? And does it adequately answer the intent and the question being asked by the searcher? Okay, so if they're looking to buy something, so the buyer intent is that, or the intent of the searcher is buying, okay, then that's a different intention, and the questions they're asking is very different to someone who's learning about a topic, right? So if they simply just want to learn about something, so someone who, for example, is training to be a copywriter and they're searching for how to be a copywriter, or if they're searching for copywriting tips, that's very different to a business that's trying to outsource their copywriting, and they're searching to hire a copywriter, and so they might be looking for a copywriting service. So the words they use are different, the intentions are different, therefore the pages that come back in the search will be prioritized based on that intent. Okay, and how does Google know about what the intention is? Because it's looking at all the other pages that are coming up on that page 1, and it's prioritizing based on, okay, well, 7 out of the 10 pages are focused on this type of content. Therefore, this must match the intent. Okay, so that's a bit of explanation. We can deep dive into more of that, and I'm probably better off bringing on the SEO expert to go through that. But optimization, in terms of optimization, first thing we want to look at is your content length. All right. So if 5 of the articles on page 1 for a specific keyword is 2,000 words and your article is only 500 words, okay, most likely your article is not going to rank, because Google's going to look at yours and say, hey, why is yours so short compared to all these other ones that are much more in depth and longer, right? So that's one factor. The second thing Google's looking for is relevant phrases being used in the content, okay? And so the way that Surfer, the actual application, the artificial intelligence tool is designed, it's using natural language processing, or also known as NLP. And basically it's really, because Google, for intent and purpose, is also an AI, and it's a tool that's searching and looking at these different words and phrases that are being used in the content, and then it's comparing those words and phrases to the popularity of words and phrases on competitor pages, right? And it is using NLP, which is I'll refer to it as a type of technology to actually do that work. So number 2 is relevant phrases in your content. Number 3 is page speed. Okay, so how fast is the page speeding? How fast is it loading, right? Is it really slow because of whatever reasons? Okay, is it coming up within a few seconds? And that reduces what's called a bounce rate, so people aren't just jumping off straight away because it's taking too long to load. Page speed does play a role in this. So that's number 3. Number 4 is the number of structure elements like paragraphs, headings, and images. Okay, so in that page, right, do you have, how are you structuring the content to make it easier to read and to understand? Do you have, clear headings that have the keywords embedded in those headings? Do you have images that are keyword optimized as well? So when you're naming the images, the image files, do they have the keywords embedded in those names? These are all important. Okay, that's number 4. Number 5 are meta tags. Okay, so these are tags that are being used. So inside of WordPress, and whatever tool you're using, there is a section where you can actually define meta tags, and you can basically, that's where you want to put your keywords as well. And number 6 is keyword density, which is basically how often are you using a specific keyword in your content, and is it being used enough time to actually show to Google that this is the primary focus of that piece of content. Okay, so let's recap the 6 things that we're looking for here in our optimization checklist. First one is content length. 2 is relevant phrases in your content. Number 3 is page speed. Number 4 is number of structure elements like paragraphs, headings, and images. Number 5 is meta tags. Number 6 is keyword density. Okay, so now that we know that, there are really 2 ways to go about doing this on-page optimization. The first way, option A, is to do it 100% manually. All right. So what you would need to do is open up a Google sheet or a spreadsheet. You put down all your primary keywords, list them in a column. You put down what page or page on your site has that particular keyword that you're focusing on. You may have sub-pages. You'd have other keywords that are related to that. You're gonna have to do some research around how competitive that keyword is, how many global monthly searches, how many local searches, what are the competitive pages, and all these sort of things. And you're going to build up this massive spreadsheet and spend a lot of time doing all this stuff, right? So that's the way that it used to be done, and that's option A, 100% manual. And you can definitely do that, right? However, having said that, option B is actually automating this work with smart AI, using artificial intelligence tools, which will automate a lot of this and speed up the process significantly. So something that might take you hours or days can really be brought down to, minutes, right? Literally. So which would you prefer? Let me know. Okay, so I know which way I'm going to go, and I'm going to show you option B, right? So let's go over. We're going to jump into Surfer SEO in a moment. I will just make a note here that you can actually go and try Surfer SEO for 7 days, and just head over to simplecreativemarketing.com/Surfer SEO, right? One word. That's my affiliate link. For disclaimer, it won't cost you anything additional, right? But if you do end up signing up, then I will get a commission from that. All right, but there's no additional cost to you. I will note here that it is a paid trial, so you will need to pay up front to use the tool, and then they have a 30-day money back guarantee. And basically, what they say is, if after using Surfer for 7 days you're not satisfied, simply contact our support team via chat or email, and we'll process your refund request. No questions asked. Okay, so you can even ask for an extension on that as well, which I've done previously. So simplecreativmarketing.com/Surfer SEO. Go over there and check it out. And I'm gonna, I'm gonna say my belief is that once you've had a chance to play with it and apply some of the things that we're going through here in this training, and some additional trainings I'll be doing in coming weeks and months, you're going to love it, and most likely you're not going to want to refund it anyway. So here we go. So we're going to jump into the tool. I'm going to bring up my screen here. Okay, so let's give you a quick, if it's the first time you've ever come across Surfer SEO, there are different tools within the tool that you can actually utilize, right? So the product has a planner tool, which actually is used to plan your content and generate content strategy. Okay, and that's really useful if you don't have a clear content strategy, or you don't, you haven't connected your keywords, what keywords you should be using, and utilizing that for a content strategy. We actually offer that we do that as a more extensive 2-hour workshop with our clients, and we map out a 90-day content plan. But if you wanted something quick and maybe not that extensive, then this tool can actually help you work through some of that stuff. There's also a brief tool, which basically helps you create an artificial intelligence AI outline for an article, and it gives you unique, AI headings and paragraphs based on whatever keyword you're trying to rank for. That's another tool we'll cover in a separate training video. There's also the content editor, which is definitely my favorite tool here, which allows you to write content, write your articles with guidelines. It actually tells you, gives you content suggestions, say, based on the keyword that you're trying to rank the piece of content for. Okay. And then in this training, we're talking about the audit tool, which is the tool that we use to optimize existing pages. So this really is great if you already have content on your site, and you've got articles there, and you just that they're not doing so well in terms of bringing traffic to your website every month, and you're wondering what are your competitors doing? How can you do better? How can you get your articles onto page 1? And this audit tool is the one we're working through here. Okay, so you can see if you're watching this on the screen here, you can see that the SEO audit tool produces a report of quick wins and SEO opportunities. All right, and it's your go-to feature for getting more search traffic. It allows you to repurpose old content, find SEO errors in your content, and really optimize very quickly. Okay, so let's walk through now a live demonstration and example. Now, if you're listening to this on the podcast, I would suggest that you jump over to simplecreativemarketing.com/podcast and actually now go and watch the video version of this recording, because then you can actually see what's going on the screen. Okay, so let's jump in there. Now, when we're in Surfer SEO, we've logged in, we're looking at the dashboard, right? And on the dashboard here, let's just do this. Okay, cool. So on the dashboard, you can see that we're at home. There's your different options, your content editor, audit, content planner, keyword research tool. We're going to click on audit, right? And then audit says optimize your existing pages based on data from top performing pages. It asks you for a URL. It says enter the URL of the page you'd like to audit. And then it asks you for keywords. Okay, what specific keyword or keywords do you want to optimize that page for, or you're trying to optimize that page for? Right, you enter those 2 bits of information, and then you hit create audit. Okay, now I've done one previously already. So there's this page I have on my site, which is our content writing service page. So the URL is here, simplecreativemarketing.com/content-writing-service, and there, basically this is a sales page. It gives people information about our content writing service. You can view different packages on here. It talks about the benefits of the service, saving time, saving money, kick some business goals, how it works, what are the steps. We've got some client testimonials on here, and then the different packages that you can sign up for, depending on what you need. All right, so this is here, and then we've got a bit about the team, and a guarantee, and then our frequently asked questions section. Okay, so standard sales page, pricing page, right? So what we're going to do is try and get this page into page 1, because anyone who's thinking about hiring a content writing service, they're going to search for content writing service in Google, and then we want that page to come up. Okay, so now the keyword I'm actually wanting to rank for is website content writing services. So I did some research prior to this session, and I found that there's some decent volume of monthly searches for website content writing services. So let's click into here. I'm going to show you what the audit report looks like. Okay, so you can see the link here. I've did the audit for Australia. You can also choose different countries and regions depending on where you're trying to rank your content for. Okay, so if you have clients in the US and you want to target US, you can choose US instead of Australia or UK, etc. Right, so website content writing services. When it does the report, you can click on this. There's a button here that says select competitors, right? So if you click on that, what it does, it actually, Surfer SEO lets you choose or filter in or filter out specific sites that have come up on page 1. Okay, so the reason for this is, it comes back to what I said earlier about buyer intent. Okay, is it someone are you trying to reach people that, is your content designed to educate more than to sell? Is it that you're trying to reach your buyer at an earlier stage in their journey? So is it someone that's early on pieces that they maybe have a problem aware, but they don't actually know specifically which vendors to go for? Or are they actually at the point where they're further down in their process and they're ready to buy, and they're just now, really want to go and look at specific vendors, versus when you're sort of in that research stage where you're kind of just more open to, or what can I expect from a service like this? Okay, so here you can see it's also, are you focused on, do you serve entry level, maybe startups, or do you serve more, provide more of a premium service, and you work with more established businesses like we do? Okay, so on the organic competitors list here, there are 10 sites that have come up. Okay, and I've actually deselected a few of them, because, for example, the third option that has come up here is Fiverr, and the fourth one is Upwork, right? So the clients that work with us with Simple Creative Marketing typically are not the type of clients that go and hire people on Fiverr and Upwork. They've tried them before. They had really bad negative experiences. Quality of work wasn't there. Communication problems, all these sort of things. And so they want to work with someone who's had experience in B2B, produce content for accounting firms, legal firms, business coaches, these sort of things. And they, so when they work with us, usually it's like, hey, we've tried to work with other freelancers, but it hasn't worked. They just don't get the quality, don't get the tone of voice, these sort of things, right? So I'm going to filter them out in these search results, because I don't want Surfer SEO to compare my page to their pages, because they're not the same. We're not targeting the same audience, if that makes sense. All right. So another couple that I've filtered out, switched off here, is this number 5, which is 10 best content writing services, and number 7, which is 9 best content writing services. So these are more like, listing pages where they just list a bunch of different services, and then they're kind of comparing them to each other. My page is not, it's only focused on our service. It's not really comparing other services, so it's not relevant in terms of a comparison that, for Surfer SEO. So that's what it is. So you check the ones you want to leave in. You can turn them on and off, toggle those, and then we click let's go, and we hit refresh. Okay, and then we can see now, Surfer is now doing its comparison and analysis, and then it's going to produce, its recommendations, right? So let's put that on full screen. Okay, so you can see the first thing is a content score, right? It gives us a content score, and it's got a yellow, like a danger sign, triangle logo thing, and it says improve content score by at least 16 for the best results. And it says that your content score is 52. I click on show details, and it's showing me here that the pages that are the competitors I've chosen. The site that's on position number 1, it has a content score of 66. the site that's on position number 8 has a content score of 68. The other two are, interestingly enough, are 52, which is the same as mine. But for me to for my page do better than the rest, Surfer is recommending that I bump my score up by another 16 points. So then that's good to know, because when we go into the content editor, we can actually do some optimization in there, and then it will show when the score is changing and updating, right? So when we start making tweaks, Surfer SEO will actually update the content score on the fly for us. So that's awesome. Now we go down to missing common backlinks. This is a new feature, so it's still in beta, so it's not really working too great right now, but I'm sure that they'll clean that up real soon. And then there's a section here which is about internal links, okay? And what it says here is that I need to add internal links pointing to the audited URL from relevant pages listed. So if we click on the show internal links, it's actually giving me a list of different links that are on my website, and then it's basically saying, okay, you should link from those pages to the page that we're trying to rank for, or the page that we've used for the audit. Okay, so all those pages that it's recommending here, we want to look at those and start adding those backlinks or those links to the audited page. Okay, and that's really cool, right? So it's good to know that. So you can do that very easily because that's within our control. Then we've got terms to use. Remember, one of the optimization. So the internal links is about structure. The terms to use here is the third part of the report is really looking at, okay, the phrases that we're using, the keyword phrases we're using in the articles, and it's basically done an analysis of all the competitors on page 1, the ones that I've selected, and then it's gone, okay, well, these are really the keywords that they are using, and the number of times that they're using them, right? So if you want your page to rank for this as well, you're going to have to use these terms like content writing services, quality content, content writers, high quality content, right? And it says, suggested. So this is a nice thing, right? It's literally telling you, okay, for content writing services, you want to use that keyword at least 9 to 7, somewhere between 9 to 17 times, right? Because that has a search volume of 140 searches per month, right? This one here, content writers, right? How can you sell a content writing service but not mention content writers in your page? So it's saying, that's getting a search volume of 1,000 searches a month. So you want to mention that word 15 to 47 times on your page. All right. So can you see how useful this really is already? And we're only sort of at the beginning of this process. Okay. So you would work your way down through this, or get someone on your team who's editing your pages on your site to go through and just follow this guide, right? You go through and do that. So let's move from terms to use. Now we're looking at word count, okay? And it's saying, okay, no action required. It's giving me a green tick. I already have 1,886 words in the body of my article. Don't really need to do any changes in that one. But it does say consider in the next suggestion here, it's saying consider removing 97.5 to 120 words from H2 to H6. So let's click on show details. All right, so I have too many words in my headings is basically what it's saying. So I need to reduce those words, because if we look at the competitors, they're kind of averaging around that 46 to 65 words used in their subheadings compared to my page, which has 169 words. So I definitely need to reduce that and bring that down. And that's, again, an easy fix to do now that I know that's the thing I need to do. In terms of words in paragraphs, no action required, and then number of words that have been bolded, I need to do some removal of those because I've got too many. I've got 85 compared to the page that's on number 1 has 46 words in bold. So that's something I need to clean up as well. So there you go. That's some really awesome tips for optimization around word count. Now we've got exact keywords, and it tells us, add one exact keyword in a title. So if I want to rank for web content, what was the word? What am I doing? Website content writing services, I really should have that keyword phrase, in the title of the page, which I don't have right now. And of all the competitors, there's only really one page that's doing it. Okay, so there you go. And then it gives me some other recommendations around how to use exact keywords, where to use them. All right. and then there's also partial keywords, right? Some other sort of not the primary keyword, but related keywords, and how do I use those, right? In comparison to the competitors. Now, there's also a section here on page structure. Remember, we talked about that. So this is, it gives us some tips here, like consider reducing the number of H1 elements to 1. So, on your page, you would typically have different headings, and with the headings and subheadings, you're using different H1 is kind of the biggest heading tag, right? Or H1 element. So you really should only have one H1 element on the page, and you want to not have too many words in that heading. Okay, and it's telling me to consider reducing that because I might have too many H1 elements. I've got 5 actually, and it's saying, okay, bring that down to 1. So the simple fix here is to change those H1s to H2s or H3s or whatever it may be. So that's something that we're going to do. So there you go. And then there's title and meta description. Remember we talked about meta description earlier. So it gives us some tips around that. I don't have any action required for my title. It looks like it's good, it's green, but the meta description needs to be fixed. I've got too many characters in there, so it's telling me to remove 4 to 24 characters from the meta description. Now load time is good, so that's good to know. So my web hosting is good and it's loading quickly enough compared to the competitors. So that's the Surfer SEO audit tool, right? So now you know all these. All you need to do in terms of a process is go through each one of these sections, click on more details, follow the instruction and the guide that it's giving you, okay? Or you take this information or this page, you can actually copy this link and you can share it with someone on your team, whether it's your VA or someone who's in charge of, updating your website and your web pages, and say, hey, go and implement these changes. So once those changes are done, this page will be optimized, and then you can rerun that audit again on that page. I'd say give it a few days or even a week, come back, rerun it and see how it's performing. We might even give it a month. But I would do this as a part of a process where you're actually looking at a group of articles and specific keywords you're trying to rank for on your page. Now, the Surfer team actually recommend that if you have any content that's ranking on page 2, they're the easiest ones to get wins to push to page 1. So if you have that, start there, and then you can then move your way down to articles and pages that are ranking on more lower in the search engines. Okay, so because the goal is to get the ones that are doing almost on page 1, we want to just bump them up. And let's do that first, get the quick wins, and then we'll move on to the other pages. Okay, so that's how we use the Surfer SEO audit tool. I hope you got value from the things that we shared here. And again, if you want to why don't we do one more example actually before we end this session. I'm going to actually show you one of my client sites. So we've got automation agency run by Carl Taylor. They're one of our clients, and we do case studies for them. And here's a page that is on his site. The title of the page or the article is the 6 steps to effective email marketing automation. This makes sense because they help their clients with email automation, setting those things up and, configuring those. All right. So let's go to Surfer. I'm going to come out of here. Let's go to audit again. And I'm going to put the link to that page there. Now, what keyword are they trying to optimize for? That's something that when you're looking at competitor sites or your client sites, we need to clear. Typically, I would just ask my client. In this case, kind of had this idea spontaneously. So I have a plugin here on Chrome, which is called where is it? It's the Moz. If I can find it. Where are you? Here it is. Okay, it's the Moz bar. That's a Chrome extension. If you're using Chrome, you turn it on. And I'm going to click on that. Okay, and then you'll see it's loading here, the Moz toolbar. And this is free to use, by the way. You just need to sign up for a free account. And then you can click on page analysis. So I'm going to show you a ninja trick here. And then you can scroll down and you can see it's got the page title, meta description, meta keywords. Okay, this page hasn't really been optimized, so I can see already there's some things that need to be fixed with this page. But my assumption that it would be that they are trying to rank for effective or email marketing automation. Right? There's actually, if I take off the Moz toolbar for now, there's another tool here that we can use, which is called WooRank. Let me just click on that. Okay, so it's loading this page. It's giving a score based on their own scoring system, saying there's a meta description missing. So these plugins are really useful as well because they kind of give you some information already that you can use. But then in the content analysis, we can see that here's a bunch of keywords that it's found: effective email marketing automation, marketing funnel, marketing automation, email marketing automation has been used 4 times, right? So let's assume that's the keyword that they're trying to rank for with this page. So I'm going to come back to now the audit tool. I've put the URL in there. I'm going to put email marketing automation, and then we're going to say, let's say that they're operating in Australia, so they're trying to reach Australian audience, right? So click on create audit, and let's Surfer. You can see it's cooking away here. It's doing its thing. Now on the monthly plan, you actually, and I'm on the there's different pricing plans, but I'm on the, I think the lowest one. You get 65 audits per month, right? So that's a lot of pages that you can do. Okay, so email marketing automation is giving me the tick, so it's ready to, the report is ready. So I can go into there. We can see here, here it is. Here's the page. Here's the keyword that we're trying to rank for. Content score is 52. We need to improve that content score by at least 16 for the best results. If we click on show details, here are the competitors. You can see the competitors all are up there between that sort of 68 to 80. And therefore, for this page to compete with those ones that are on page 1, we really need to bump up the content score, right? On that, there's a bunch of backlinks that are missing, internal links. There are 94 internal link opportunities found on this URL. So these are easy wins. These are quick wins. Carl and his team, they can jump in there, do, go to those pages that are listed here under show internal links, and then basically link back to this 6 steps to effective marketing automation. If that's the page they want to rank higher, link from there back to that page they want to rank higher. And that's really relatively easy and quick to do. There's here a bunch of terms to use. Says 732 out of 836 important terms require your attention. All right, so there are 205 phrases that really need to be embedded into the page to compete with the ones that are on page 1. There's some decent volume here as well. So email marketing, we want to add another 6 to 13 mentions of that keyword in the article, because that's getting a lot of volume search, 1,900 searches per month, right? So we can work through the list and prioritize based on the search volume. There's another one here. I think I saw 1,000 keywords and marketing channels. Okay, so we want to add, it says to add 1. All right, so that's easy. There you go, terms to use. We've got word count. We need to improve the word count. There's some different recommendations here. Keywords, okay, some recommendations here, partial keywords, page structure. So a lot of things around subheading, subtitles, images. Your web page has 6 images in image, while the suggested range is 15 to 30 images. So it even tells you how many images should be on the page to really compete with the other pages that are on page 1. So here are some quick wins that, I could give this to Kyle and his team and say, hey, look, if you want to really optimize that page and get ranking on email marketing automation, then these are the things you need to do, right? Or, if he doesn't want to do it, he can actually, hire our team to do it for him. So, and that's one of the services that we can provide as well. So there you go. That's Surfer SEO. We've done 2 different websites, 2 different pages, and just 2 different keywords to give you some idea of how to best utilize the tool. Let's come back to here. Again, if you want to use the tool, now would be a good place to mention. You can head over to simplecreativemarketing.com/Surfer SEO. click through that link. That will take you then over to Surfer SEO. You can sign up for an account. As I mentioned earlier, you do need to give them a credit card. But then if you're not happy with the tool within 7 days, you can email them or send them a message by chat and request a refund. No questions asked, and I'll do that for you. But I would recommend you definitely give it a go. They also, the nice thing about Surfer SEO, if they've got, you can see on the screen, they've got a page where it says Learn, a menu option called Learn. They've got a ton of webinars and training videos and things like that, which are really useful for learning more about content marketing, SEO optimization, and they even have an SEO, a Surfer SEO certification training that you can do, and a test that I've done. I'm certified now as a Surfer SEO expert, okay, and which is why I'm delivering this training to you. All right, so again, simplecreativemarketing.com/Surfer SEO. Jump in on that link, sign up, give SEO a trial for 7 days. If you're not happy, that's all good and fine. But watch this video again, and I hope you got a lot of value. If you have any questions at all, just put them in the chat, or shoot me an email, hello@simplecreativemarketing.com, and we're happy to answer those for you. I also have a Facebook group. You can jump into my Facebook group. That's probably the best place to reach me and the team. Just head over, look, go to simplecreativemarketing.com/community. And then that, you can jump into our group and we'll connect there. Thanks for tuning in today. This has been great fun to share this training with you. And look out for our other Surfer SEO trainings coming up real soon. Talk to you next time.